and to Chavez-Thompson. I want to add, if there's going to be a vital feature for populism in Texas, for real economic justice movement, we're going to have to appeal to the new and emerging Texas, which is overwhelmingly urban, will be majority Latino. And that's a far cry, of course, from the original populist coalition, which was rural and predominantly white, although it did reach out. I'm wondering what parts of the populist message can appeal to the rising generation of Texans, and how we can best preach the economic gospel of populism to this emerging generation.
I first want to thank you, Bob, and thank the panel, as well as probably the most famous populist of all, Jim Hightower, for the invitation to be here. I never knew what populist was when I was beginning my life in the American labor movement about 42 years ago. And in fact, when I was starting to bone up a little bit about getting to know more about why I was going to be speaking here, and I read the different descriptions of a populist, I said, by golly, I've been doing that for 42 years of my life. and I said, gee, I'm standing right alongside the great Jim Hightower. My life in the labor movement has taught me one thing, and that was that there's always going to be people that are disadvantaged, no matter in what category, as long as that person is a worker. Whether it's in wages, whether it's in the way they're treated, whether it's in sometimes the language they speak or the color of their skin, in some way or another, workers find themselves disadvantaged. Unions, and strong unions, which have always been supported by the populist movement, because it gives people a leg to stand on, some strength, some ability to fight back, to gain respect, to gain dignity, to be somebody, to get up to the middle class, and that's been always my level of work, has been to build and help build workers' lives into the middle class. And I have done that for 40 years that I was in the labor movement, too, retired, and then the last 3 months, either my wildest dream or my wildest nightmare, since I decided to embark in this election that we're not going to talk about, right, Jim? But for me, as a Latina woman, I have seen it all. I have seen the poorest of the poor. I have seen the worst abuses of workers. I've seen the worst treatment. And just recently, with this law passed in Arizona, I'm reliving things all over again about how people are going back. They seem to want to go back instead of forward. The lives of workers are affected by everything that we do. Latino workers, for the most part, are affected even more because they don't know and haven't learned how to fight back. They think that they need to wait for somebody else to do it for them. They believe that they have the same rights. They believe that they have the same rights. They believe that it should be good for everybody. But it's always been a factor in life that many Latinos, for the most part, have been good soldiers, but they're waiting for somebody to give them the order that it's their turn next. With populism, and with perhaps a new frontier in politics and empowerment of the vote for all people, not just for Latinos, but mostly for the people that I've seen at the worst in their lives. Right now in America, and across America, we are now seeing something that I thought would never happen. When I started out in the labor movement in 1967, I went to work for a construction local, and I saw, even when my father came to work there, a living wage. He had a pension plan. He had a good hourly wage. He had days off. He had health insurance. And so that was my goal, that I would help all workers build up to have the same thing, to have a good pension plan, to have vacation, to have sick leave days off to where they would be paid. And now we've reverted to jobs that only pay you an hourly wage, that you don't get paid when you're sick, you don't have vacation, you don't have a pension. Oh, yes, you do. You can save your own money in a 401k to pay yourself at the end of the time that you work, so that's your pension plan. Well, Latinos even don't have that. And one of my goals has been, since I retired 2.5 years ago, is to begin to build within the Latino community a can-do, must-do. It's up to us to make things happen in our own communities. And very simply, it's about encouraging leadership that has built within the Latino community to come out and say, it's about time we take charge. It's about time that we start looking for people that can make the difference in the lives of all workers, ordinary people, that can finally move on up to the head of the class and begin to make the change for themselves, for their families, for the state that they live in, and for the community. And I think that kind of populism can be very popular. That kind of populism can empower, and I'm hoping that as I lead my life in the next few years, that I'll be able to do that myself and get to a goal that all of us can share, the wealth in such a great state as Texas.